What's going on, everybody? It's Isaac with iWillCreate Media, and today I want to talk to you about how do I prepare my gear for a production shoot. Currently, I'm in my home office, and I just want to run through some of the steps that I take to make sure that I'm prepared once I get to set. First things first is to create yourself a gear checklist. This is super important. Although I may not be actually behind the camera of every one of my shoots, I do use my gear majority of the time. So having this checklist just guarantees that I haven't forgot anything at home when I get to the set. I use Apple Notes for my checklist. You can use anything, but just write out a list of all your gear. I like these little bubbles because it allows you to check, different things off, but just take down all your gear. And what I like to do is physically touch these objects as I put them in my bag, and that's when I check them off. So that's the first thing. Create yourself a checklist. Once you got that checklist out the way, next thing I like to do personally is to get all of my batteries charged. All of my V-mounts, microphone batteries, camera batteries, gimbal batteries, whatever it is that me or my crew will be using on set on a day of production, make sure that the batteries are charged. Here's my non-fancy charging station. So I have, batteries for like microphones, batteries for V-mounts in case I want to go wireless with the lights, batteries for my C70s, batteries for monitors, and I have more batteries that needs to be charged, and I'll just rotate these things out. But like I said, it's nothing fancy. This is literally on the floor of my office. Before I go into the next thing on my list, I want to talk about something that I feel like could be overlooked. I like to keep things very nimble. I like to try to compact all of my gear into one bag if I could. If I could, I would. But I have two bags that I use that I love. That I use on every shoot. If I'm hiring creatives to shoot for me, whatever it may be, these bags are there, and the gear for my specific setups are being used from these bags. So here are my two bags. Over here you have the Timba Doctor's bag, and this is Big Bertha. That's what I call it. And it's my Think Tank Manager bag. Let's see what's in it. So in this bag, I have my Aperture 300D Mark II light. My V-mounts goes there. I'm able to fit two tripods. One is under here, right there. I have my modifier, and I have two heavy-duty stands right under the tripod. And everything else that I need goes right there. In my Timba bag, I put my two Canon C70s. Got my 70-200 RF, and then I think that's my 24. The monitor that goes on my Canon C70 is here. My Adamus monitor, and then I love this bag so much, man. Look at this. That's my Amaran 60D light, right? Crazy. It's how you could fit all of that. And then these are the cords for my Amaran 60D. Right here, you have more microphones. This is my Pico Gear mic. I can definitely do a breakdown of this mic in a later video. And then on this side, I just keep some charging cables. This is my entire set squeezed into two bags. See behind me, I do have more bags if I need to use different things on different setups. Tomorrow, I think I'm actually bringing a little bit more gear to the setup. So I'll probably be using this bag right here. And the links to all of this equipment, bags, batteries, everything will be below. The next thing I like to do is to check all of my memory. So SD cards, SSD cards, whatever it is that I'm using memory-wise, I check it to make sure, one, that is double backed up. So I make sure that all my cards from any previous shoots are double backed up before I delete them off the card, so that when I go to my next shoot, I don't have to worry about running into a situation where the camera stops because there's old footage on the current card. And I've ran into that issue in the past, so I learned from my mistake. After formatting your cards or initializing your media, what I like to do is make sure that my camera settings are correct. I know tomorrow that we will be shooting talking heads, and I want to make sure that the camera is set up exactly how I like it to be, at least starting off when I arrive on set. So I like my aperture at 2.8, my ISO at 800 because we're using C-Log2. I like my frame rate to be 23.98, and that's kind of it. I ran into situations before where I may have handed off my camera to someone else, and maybe they were shooting B-roll, so they put everything in 60 frames, or they were shooting in a different log format. And I got to set in a more interview style setup, and I completely did not pay attention to my camera settings, press record just to get home and see that the whole interview was shot in 60 frames. So I learned from that mistake, and I started to incorporate checking my camera settings into my system. So after I check my camera settings, clear my cards, charge my batteries, I go back to the gear checklist. And before I tackle that gear checklist, what I do is I take all of my gear out of my bags, and then I use the checklist to put everything back. Now this step you don't have to take because you already did the checklist in the beginning, But I personally take it because I'm always touching something. My brain is going 1,000 miles a minute, and I want to make sure that everything is where I need it to be because I like my bags compact. I like things where I put them, and I don't want to get to set and see that something is out of place and I forgot something. So that's a step that I like to take. And that is it for the way that I prepare my gear for shoots. Thanks for watching this video. If you got any value out of it, please leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe. These vlogs are more personal than anything, just me sharing my thoughts as I think them, as I'm preparing for a shoot, as I'm on a shoot, after a shoot, as I run into issues, whatever it may be. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, do all of that stuff to support the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.